Hey Mosies! I just got my previously pre-ordered copy of Godzilla, the official guide to the King of the Monsters, hardback by Graham and Skipper. Looks like published by Welbeck. And I'm going to do a quick overview of this and share some of my thoughts. So obviously, this is a beautiful cover and everything here. It's not necessarily embossed where Godzilla's skin is. It's almost like sandpaper. Here's a look at the back. It says, "All Hail the King." More than 60 years of monster movie mayhem collide in this official guide to the world of Godzilla, bringing together every era of Godzilla for the very first time, including the complete Japanese and Western movies. This definitive collection contains hundreds of spectacular stills, original artwork, and rare behind-the-scenes photographs. Packed with insights and trivia, this is the full story of the world's longest-running film franchise. Here's a look at the table of contents. As you can see, it's broken down mostly by film era. But that's pretty much what this book is. And I hate to say it, but I'm disappointed. It is a great guide for beginners of mostly the movies. It said the world of Godzilla, but it's mostly just the movies, Eastern and Western, live action and animated, and a brief reference to some of the television stuff and comics. But that's it. This is mostly stuff that you could just find on Wikipedia, but I don't want to fault the authors that much because I don't know what the process of working with Toho is like. Obviously, it's very difficult to get when it comes to Blu-rays and DVDs of Godzilla from Japan. It's always just bare bones stuff because apparently Toho charges a fortune just to have like deleted scenes and other special features like that. Distributors usually just buy the film and package it bare bones like that. Whereas I recall Funimation did their own special features for their Shin Godzilla Blu-ray. But there are beautiful pictures in here. I just wish, content-wise, it was just more. It summarizes the movie, tells you a little about who starred in it, who produced it, and some side fun facts and trivia. But that's it. I was hoping that they would delve a little more in depth, like what was going on, how Japan was viewed in the rest of the world, and how that impacted Godzilla films at the time. Whether, Godzilla was a villain, Godzilla was a hero. I wish they would discuss some of the deleted scenes or scenes that were scrapped and never filmed. But like I said, I don't know what the process was between working with Toho, if they had access to any of that information. But this is a great guide for beginners. If you don't want to just look at a Wikipedia page, if you actually want to own something, it's a very good table book for beginners. But if you're hoping to expand your knowledge that much, don't hold your breath. They don't really talk about the toy line or the Godzilla fandom or how it's impacted other franchises. As for the comics, they mostly touch on the IDW stuff with the photographs, but when it comes to the history of Dark Horse Comics, there's literally a paragraph and one additional sentence, which could have easily been more elaborated on. I was also hoping that they would speak to some of the still living writers and producers and talk in depth about how each of the more recent film entries, what they wanted to capture, or how they wanted to make each film different from previous films. They do briefly also touch on the history of Godzilla in video games. Rightfully so, this book spends more time going into the original Godzilla film as opposed to the sequels. But even with that being said, there's still not much. There's maybe 2 pages, 2.5. And then that means most of the other entries only get 1 page. And that's really only half a page because they have these huge title cards here for each film entry. If you select other Godzilla films like Godzilla 1984, aka The Return of Godzilla, they get a little bit more than the average text describing the legacy of the film. But even for something like Godzilla 2000, which also had a fairly wide theatrical release in the Western Hemisphere, even that just gets the standard 1 page and an extra paragraph or 2 on another page. Like I said, there are fun facts here. Like, I had no idea that during Godzilla Raids Again, that a certain filming technique was invented by accident because the cameraman apparently filmed at a slower rate than intended. Another fun fact, apparently it took 12,000 hours to build the Mount Fuji set in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. What kind of reading material do you prefer from Godzilla? Do you like these coffee table books that are more focused on the photographs? What do you want to hear about in a Godzilla book? What kind of information are you curious about? Alright, Mossy, thanks for watching.